So the long-awaited 6th season of My Hero Academia has finally been fully released. After giving it a watch, I had a couple things on my mind. First things first, let me just say it completely lived up to my expectations. The animation was crisp, the story was intriguing, and the characters were well developed. I honestly had no complaints. A lot of people were talking trash about it, but hey, what can you do? Haters gonna hate. Now with that out of the way, we can dive into the more pressing questions. Firstly, I was kind of surprised at how stupidly overpowered Shigaraki was. All they did was put him in a little container with some fluid, and all of a sudden he's a god. Even when his quirk was erased by Eraserhead, he was still stronger than the top hero and all the other heroes combined. Bro was bodying everyone, and he was only at 70%. Imagine what he could do at 100. Man actually might stand a chance against Goku. Next up on the stupidly overpowered list, Makia. Man literally pops out of nowhere and is still stronger than every hero. Watching him run through everyone without even flinching just makes you feel so helpless. But hey, at least a little bottle of melatonin can beat him. Though I don't know how they plan on keeping him in prison, or restrained for that matter, if Shigaraki literally ran through Tartarus without even sweating. At this point, UA, a private school, has a better security system than the highest level prison in Japan. Priorities, I guess? Bruh. They really got to do something about that. I think that jailbreak was a little too easy. Moving on, I was curious about how they never elaborated on how Dabi, or should I say Toya, survived his accident. Judging by the fact that even Endeavor was surprised by the magnitude of the fire, he was convinced that Toya had died. And this guy works with fire for a living, so you'd think he knows his stuff. If the fire was really that bad, instead of looking like this would be more realistic. In hindsight though, I don't know how I didn't see this coming. Given the whole Endeavor family drama, it was a perfect supervillain setup. Another interesting thing about this season is that they forced poor Deku to go through years of character development in a day. They sort of shoved him into the Vestige world and kind of just started injecting him with a bunch of quirks. The poor guy has to keep up with Shigaraki, who's insanely strong, so I guess it makes sense. In the Vestige world, they elaborate on how Deku might be one of the last wielders of One For All, because he was one of the only people who was born without a quirk. I kind of find that hard to believe. I feel like there's at least one other person somewhere in the world that doesn't have a quirk. And if not, couldn't they theoretically just use a quirk-destroying bullet on someone at birth and destroy their quirk? There are ways around this. I guess they just gotta ask Shigaraki, real nicely for one, you know? Modern problems require modern solutions. One thing I really like about this season is that it turned from a happy-go-lucky show about kids with superpowers and turned into a dark reflection of our own society. This season really delivers on themes involving the fakeness of public perception. It may look like it's all love, but in reality, the public is fickle and self-centered at the end of the day. You see this all the time in our society with celebrities. You know, one day they're all the hype and then the other day they're canceled. In the show, they blame all their problems on the heroes for losing to Shigaraki, even though they had no control over it, really. They just weren't strong enough to defeat him. But hey, at least they tried. So logically, the public boos them out of society, and all the heroes end up quitting or leaving. Then, fittingly, the public complains about how there's no one left to protect them. You played yourself. At this point, those people should just emigrate to Canada. There's nothing to rob here but Tim Hortons. And they'll be protected by our top 3 heroes. Maple Syrup Man, Moose, and Lumberchat. Anyway, because of this, Deku is forced to go through his sad boy Sasuke phase. Man's looking like the Easter Bunny from Ohio. Brother's fighting some demons. Regardless, I like how My Hero Academia challenged the ideas of a picture-perfect hero, making him more like a vigilante. I guess he doesn't really need to look as jacked or as cool as All Might, because he has 7 other quirks that make him just as effective. The final thing I would like to address is the incoming overseas heroes. I wonder how stereotypical they will be. Oh yeah, that checks out. America! Well anyway guys, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, let me know what your thoughts on this season were in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinions and maybe discuss a little bit of this stuff. We'll see you in the next one.